To talk about the servo test that we conduct in the AS350 dual hydraulic system helicopters, the AS355, and the EC130 models of helicopters. The purpose of this test is to make sure that all the switches in the rotary valves are operating properly. We have 6 rotary valves, 2 per servo in this installation. And they are connected to a single servo light. So we need to make sure that the indicator that tells us if we're on our backup valve on the servo is operating properly. Now, first of all, every time you shut down the helicopter, with a lack of hydraulic pressure, a plunger comes out on each one of the rotary valves and takes that secondary rotary valve, the backup distributor valve, and moves it so as to exercise it on a daily basis. Now, when that secondary valve is moved, a switch is supposed to engage downwards. After you start the helicopter, that plunger comes back, and now all the secondary rotary valves snap into their flight position, and they just stay there the rest of the flight unless they're utilized in a jammed rotary valve situation. So before we start the helicopter, electricity is trying to find ground. We're going to use the AS350 here as an example. Works the same way on the AS355. Now, since it can't find ground on this side of this restrictor here, it will go through it, find the ground on that side, and turn on the servo light. Now, before we start the helicopter, we push the servo test push button. This is to make sure that all those switches have gone down, that none of them are stuck, which happens periodically. And so we'll push the servo test push button, which closes this relay, and electricity now is routed through all the rotary valves. And as long as all those switches are down, the electricity can make it to ground. Since it found ground on this side, the servo light turns off. Now let's say one of the switches was stuck up. So when the electricity tried to make its way through all the rotary valves, it would get stopped at that stuck up switch on that rotary valve. And which time we know that we need to have maintenance look at it. Kind of a trick to that is simply tap on the side of the servo, and that'll also often free up that switch, and it'll pop down. So then after we start the helicopter, since there's hydraulic pressure in both sides, that plunger is pulled back, the secondary rotary valves all go into their flight position, and all the switches go up. Now, when we push the servo test push button this time, since it can't find ground on this side any longer, it goes through the restrictor and turns on the servo light, ensuring that it still works after the system is powered up. I hope that answers any questions with the servo test, and we'll see you at the next Euro.